All right. Happy Sunday, lads. Happy Sunday to everyone. How we all doing today? Haven't done a Sunday stream in about 2 weeks. I normally always do them on a Sunday, but the last 2 Sundays been busy, but we're good today. We had a few people in. We talked about the fights last night. All right. Talk about Virgil Ortiz. Talk about Lawrence Okolie. Talk about Beterbiev. We get just general. I had a mare of a weekend with these predictions. My God. I mean, from Thursday, seemed like every prediction I made just went, it just went horrifically. It didn't go well at all. But we get a few people in. I've seen Terence Crawford say, this is what he's saying, that it looks at this stage that the Errol Spence fight is finished. It looks like he's not going to take that fight. It looks like that fight's not going to happen. Do you know something? When Pacquiao gave up that WBA title or got stripped of it or made champion in recess, it really is, after Ugas got elevated, I was thinking if Spence unifies with Ugas, that Crawford fight's never going to happen, because there's no way you can deny Spence the bigger cut if he has 3 belts and Crawford has 1. No way. Big up to Joe Stunner every time, evening all, everyone okay. Joe Stunner topped the prediction league this week. I don't know if you got that message or not yet, but I got it just there. And I had probably the worst week I've ever had in the prediction league. I was just, every prediction I made was just gonzo. Like after Thursday, I was pretty much a write-off. You know, Israel Gonzalez, what was the other guy's name? I forget the guy's name. Was a former champion with Golden Boy. He let me down big time. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good week for me with the predictions. Big up to Joey. Interesting one here. Don't underestimate Okolie in the heavyweight division. Rumor has it that he's held his own in sparring against top guns and dropped them with less experience at the time. If we're going off the rumor of him dropping Anthony Joshua a few years ago, I'd well believe that Lawrence Okolie could hang with most heavyweights, right? I think people misinterpreted what I said yesterday about him being, not doing well at heavyweight. In terms of like a certain level, I don't think he'll be able to go all the way, to a heavyweight title. But like, would I pick him over someone like Nathan Gorman? Would I pick him over, who else is there at domestic level? Jesus, and I'm good at heavyweights, but I can't think of anyone at domestic level. But would I pick over someone like Nathan Gorman? Yes. Would I pick him over someone, Jesus, just for argument's sake, like Mairis Briedis, a kind of gatekeeper like that? Yeah, I would. Christian Hammer, etc., etc. But Okolie, a cruiserweight, and we can pretty much see it there. Okolie, a cruiserweight. His key strengths are he's bigger than everybody, he's longer than everybody, he can keep it at long range. They have to come to him, and if they do come to him, he's very good at shutting opponents down on the inside. Very good at not just the clinching, even just, grabbing arms and making as though, even not illegally, making it hard for them to get any work done on the inside, right? That's a lot of what Lawrence Okolie has. That's a lot of his strengths. Now, cruiserweight, he can use them strengths very effectively. Now, let's say we put him up to heavyweight. Let's say a heavyweight, he's in the 220s, and he comes up against someone who is just as tall as him, just as long a reach as him, and is physically just as strong as him. How is he going to be able to get by that? Because he has been spending the last few years, punching down at guys, fighting guys who are, as I said, a lot smaller, a lot shorter, a lot more, it's a lot easier for him to use his advantages. So for me, when I look at him at heavyweight, I don't say like, the minute he moves the heavyweight, he's going to get smashed. No, but there will come a point where he will meet someone at heavyweight, I believe, who maybe is not even, a top 20 heavyweight, top 15, but just the physicality, just the advantage that he has at cruiserweight won't be there at heavyweight, and I think he come unstuck, and I do wonder about Okolie's chin. As I said, like, he's not showing any fragilities as a pro yet, but I've seen him against Erislandy Savon get starched, get dropped at Rio 2016 a couple of times in that fight. So I do wonder about the chin of Okolie. So all that I take into consideration. If you are a 6 foot, I've said this about David Price as well. If you are a 6'5" cruiserweight with tremendous punching power and tremendous reach, there's no real way of knowing how good your chin is, because it's very rare that guys are going to get to them. you know? So like a cruiserweight, like I said, he's so much bigger, so much longer. He hits so hard. He's able to pretty much what Lawrence Okolie does is the way David Price should have fought his career a heavyweight. You know, use that height and reach, use that punching power, really put some mustard on the jab. But Dave Price didn't, but Okolie does. So for me, Okolie, a cruiserweight, it's going to be very hard to beat. It's going to be very hard to beat. I don't know if anyone can, but a heavyweight, it's a very, very different ball game altogether. You know, he could prove me wrong, but I don't know. A heavyweight, I can see him coming unstuck. You know, maybe not necessarily at domestic level, but as soon as he goes up through the gears, through the levels, and he's in there with guys who are just as physical, just as strong, hit just as hard, just as big, I reckon he could struggle a bit. You know, it's just my opinion. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. I've seen Unrivaled. Big up to Mark, Unrivaled in the chat. If he wants Briedis, give him Briedis. Hey, I don't know who I'd pick in that fight. You know, Mairis Briedis is a good fighter. Very, very good fighter. Him against Okolie. Mairis Briedis versus Okolie. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who I pick. If he wants Briedis, Briedis is a hell of a fighter. You know, the only thing about Briedis is, like, I've criticized Briedis a few times, like against Mike Perez, where he held a lot. But then there's other fights you watch Briedis in, like the Usyk fight, like his fight against Dorticos, where he just looks just amazing. You know, he just looks like amazing. Like that Usyk fight was close. I thought Usyk just nicked the fight, but you could easily give it to, like, if you gave it to Mairis Briedis, no issue there. No issue there. Yes, big up to Nick. Big up to Nick Harmer every time. Big up to G-Man and the chat. You got to get the hashtag rocks in there. You always got to get that in. Smash the like button on the way in if you could, lads. As Mark always says, it doesn't cost a penny. You know, I'm telling you, I'm stealing it from Unrivaled, you know, and same with BK. It doesn't cost a penny. It's free. So if you could smash the like button, I'd greatly appreciate that. Big up to Kingdale Clark. Didn't hear that. No, big up Joe is. Yep. Top the prediction. I have a really shit weekend at this week. Really, man, it was bad. I got loads of predictions way off. Way off. What's up, G-Man? How long you plan on doing this one for? Hope drinks went well with the mates the other day. You did mention it in my last stream. Yeah, I'm going to do it for about an hour 15. You know, normally do that on a Sunday, hour 15. Yeah, that went real well. You know, that went hell of a well because I ended up winning. Like, I'm no use at betting at all. When it comes to horses, I'm literally like, you know, get a blind kid, stick him in a minefield and say, how good's your chances? How lucky you feeling? That's kind of how I am. But I had some lads with me who knew what they were doing, and I ended up coming out with 200 quid, so it wasn't too bad. Now, I had a good day with the lad. It was good. It was good. A big up to Darren every single time. What else do we have? I'm missing a few here. Rich, big up to you, my man. Virgil Ortiz versus Terence Crawford. I haven't seen Ortiz versus Hooker. I seen the ending, but I didn't see the fight throughout. I'm going to watch that now this evening. I've always rated Virgil Ortiz, but him against Crawford now at this stage, I don't know about that. I don't think we're ever going to get. I'm starting to come to the realization that we're probably not going to get Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. 2021 could be a great year for boxing. We could get so many big fights, but I see that fight being kind of a distant now at this stage. You know, especially if Errol Spence picks up 3 titles. I don't think Crawford's. Look, all fighters are driven by ego, and I'm sure Crawford wants the best deal. But if Spence has 3 titles, they're going to unification, and Crawford only has 1. You ain't get no way is he going to get a 50-50. I think that's what he's after. He wants the 50-50. 60-40 in Spence is good as far as I'm concerned, but could be up as high as 70-30 then. I think Crawford's ego won't let him take it, but we need to see. But him against Ortiz, we'll wait and see about that, but it'd be interesting. Evening, G-Man, and bless the chat. Hope everyone's weekends. Hope everyone's well. How's the weekend been for you? Yeah, man, it's been quiet. You know, it's been what it's been. You know where we are in Ireland. Big up to yeah, big up to them. Faust, big up, G-Man. Hope all is well, mate. Of course it is, man. It's always well. Dwyer. Oh wait, yeah, I seen that. I seen Richard Dwyer, and I actually didn't see Dwyer's prediction video. I didn't see it, but knowing him, I had a feeling he'd pick Glowacki on this. But damn, I can't believe Okolie did. And you want to see all the comments? I just had to look through the comment section on that video after. I couldn't believe Okolie shouting him out. But The Wire, yeah, man, he's getting called out on Sky Sports now. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Thoughts on Ali? She was impressive. Is that Rama Ali, the one who signed with Anthony Joshua's outfit? Look, the only fights I saw on that card realistically were the Okolie one. Other than that, I was watching the card in Russia that was on with Beterbiev last night. So I didn't catch any card. I didn't catch any fights that were on Sky. I know it was over by the time Cordina was fighting, but I heard that fight wasn't much of a much. Big up to Tony every time, man. Big up to you, my man. Yeah, I remember that comment. I remember that was going around. There was footage of that going around as well and stuff. I remember that. Dylan Whyte. Well, man, this is fight week, by the way. I'm looking forward. I want to know what anyone's thoughts are on Whyte Povetkin. That's what I want to know. Because we're in fight week now. Oh, yeah, fight week. I'm dying to see this fight. Big up to Dale, Blue Collar Sports TV. You'd favourite him over Glumarin. Can't pronounce that guy's name. And Makabu. Yeah, I would pick him up both those guys as well. Briedis is the one guy where I really would. I'd be sitting up on the fences for that one. I'd be sitting on the fences for Briedis. In terms of look, I was fairly sure he'd beat Krzysztof Glowacki. Glowacki's seen better days. You know, he's not fought since he got knocked out by Briedis. So I was pretty much sure Okolie would win that fight. But him against Briedis, it's a different story. I mean, Briedis is a lot shorter, so he will have the same. Everyone has a disadvantage against Lawrence Okolie. He's so long at cruiser. But Mairis Briedis is only about 6'1". He is very well. He's short-ish. You know, he's average kind of size for a cruiserweight. Most cruiserweights are about 6'1" to 6'3". But that reach that Lawrence Okolie has, man, that's a problem. Okolie versus The Wire. I think he said it with humor. You know, he was just. Yeah, he said it with humor. He watches a good few videos, like YouTubers, Lawrence Okolie. I know Ade said that he's had conversations with Okolie. I know Okolie's reached out to Hatman, so he's well up. And you know that I always like that when you hear that from fighters who do say they watch the YouTube, because it obviously shows that they want to get a second opinion. You know, because a lot of fighters, I always find that a lot of fighters who, you know, if you look at like Jamie McDonald. You know, when he was going to fight Naoya Inoue, like everyone I think was picking Naoya Inoue. Like we all knew he was a good fighter and this, that, and the other. But you had Jamie McDonald being like, well, I don't watch boxing and I don't know who this guy is and he doesn't look that good. And well, I was like, well, you're gonna find out now when you get in there. And he got blown out and around. So that was that. What do you think of Bivol? To me, looks one-dimensional. Could be a heavier version of GGG. I would pick Beterbiev to beat him. Dmitry Bivol is one of my favorite fighters, just not from a style point of view, because he can be a bit boring at times, but his punch selection, just the way his technique is, you know, he's fast, there is power there. He's not a devastating puncher, I don't think, at world level, but he has very, very good power in there, definitely, right? So I don't know at this stage, you know, we need to see how he looks against Craig Richards, but Jesus Christ, I just said that. We need Craig Richards. It just strikes home that that's on a pay-per-view. I'm going to do a video about that whole card tomorrow. Well, this evening. But God almighty. I mean, if they wanted to put him in there with Craig Richards in a non-title fight, I could get that. I could accept that. Probably not on a pay-per-view. But for a world title on a pay-per-view against the guy who's never... How did he even get such a high ranking? Because it's not even fought for a European title. And I think he's ranked in the top 10 of the WBA at light heavyweight there a sec. And I'll just check the rankings on light heavy. I don't know how he even got that ranking. What's his ranking at light heavy? Because I couldn't believe that, you know, that they're putting that on pay-per-view against Craig Richards. And like, no disrespect to Craig Richards, but God damn it. He's ranked number 9. He's ahead of Marcus Brown, Badu Jack, Yuneski Gonzalez. I wouldn't pick Craig Richards over Marcus Brown, Badu Jack, or Yuneski Gonzalez. I wouldn't pick him over any three. Shabransky, what the hell is he? He's in at number 7. Gilberto Ramirez, Blake Caparel. Well, these probably haven't been updated because I think he lose over the weekend. I'm pretty sure he did, or last weekend. And Joshua Boatsi number 2. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they need to be updated. But we'll probably see Craig Richards go up now into like the top 5. But I don't know how we got that ranking. I swear to God. But hey, there we go. Okolie is the can man. Any man can get it. Big up the G-Man boxing every time, not missing this live. Big up the Blizz. Blizz. I hope I'm saying that right, man. Oh yeah, Dell told me this. Yeah, Harley Quinn is on OnlyFans. Now, Dell was saying that it's to give like training advice and this, that, and the other. Would you take advice on Tony? Like, put it like this, right? If there's a book that was popular here in Ireland last year, I can't remember the name of it, but it was by a woman who was like 30-something stone. Bear in mind, she's still about 20-something stone. And it's a book on dietary tips. And I was like, how is this so popular? And they were like, people want dietary tips. I'm like, why would you want dietary tips from someone who at one stage was 30 stone and is still like well in the 20 stone? And it's a bit like Bellew. This is a guy who said, like, I'm not really a heavyweight, I'm just fat. Why would you want dietary advice? I don't get that. OnlyFans, I mean, I'm sure he'll get some people signing up to that. You know, definitely. But OnlyFans, God almighty. Oh, man. Rockstar, what's happening, Rockstar? Blind case, stick him in minefield. Yeah. Blind case, stick him in a minefield. That's a metaphor on the level of Derek Chisora's laxative one. Yeah, laxative one. Yeah, that was a funny one. Man, you see me on this channel with some of the analogies I've used. Some of them have come back to bite me, though. Believe you me, some of them have come back to bite me. Some analogies I've used, like about certain, you know, me giving certain fighters odds in fights, they've come back to not bite me, but they've come back in funny ways. Biting me is to say they came back in a bad way. They didn't, but they've been funny. You won a few quid, but only bet peanuts. Make sure you see Ortiz Hooker good fight. No, I actually just haven't got a chance to do it today, but I will definitely be going having a look at it when we finish up here. I guess the good thing about the DAZN app, right? You can just watch it whenever. That's what I love about it. £2 a month. It's brilliant. I really hope Eddie Hearn goes and gets Matchroom with Sky, or like goes with DAZN full time. Just gets rid of Sky and lets us have DAZN for the UK and the US shows, because it's £2. It's handy. It's not always going to be £2. Obviously, I'm aware of that, but damn, it's fun to have. Bellew wants to be left alone on OnlyFans. Yeah, man. For someone who said that he just wants to be left alone, you know, this, that, and the other, he sure as hell makes enough noise. That's the first time Sky had him on the show since the Usyk Chisora card. That's the first time they've had him on the show since Usyk Chisora, and they didn't have him commentating. So I guess Sky are kind of, they're putting them on in kind of probably a minor role now than what they used to, given the fact that, you know, he was pretty much, you know, cheerleader. I wonder, will he be at, actually, I wonder, will they have him at Chisora Parker? I wonder, will he be there? And I wonder, will we hear him shouting? I'm actually looking forward to seeing that, actually, because he said himself, don't put me on shows with my friends fighting. I wonder, will they have him at Chisora versus Parker? That's going to be more interesting than the card itself. Is Tony Bellew going to be a pundit on Chisora Parker? That's going to be the main event I'm interested in, but the rest of the card, God almighty, that's going to be more of an intrigue to me. Will Harley Quinn be there as a pundit? Where are we in the chat? I'm almost losing it here. ESPN really want Beterbiev versus Smith. Would make me laugh if Vasilov won. Be a great fight though. Man, don't count him out. He's a good fighter. Like, so it's going to be tough for Joe Smith. I'm picking Joe Smith to win, but that's a good fight either way. Can't wait for the old crop of welterweights to F off and get replaced. The newer crop just seems so much more game. Yeah, I think that the problem is egos get involved. And, you know, I'd say, look, if Crawford was an Al Haymon fighter, this fight would have already happened. He's still with people. He's still with Bob Arum. Bob Arum's made no secret of the fact that he's pretty, you know, what was it? He said he could buy so many houses on the amount of money Crawford's lost them. It's crazy. Listen, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Fowler was stung before scoring the highlight reel knockout. I'm not convinced by him. Oh, he was stung as I didn't see the Fowler fight, to be honest with you. But yeah, look, I've never been exactly sold on Anthony Fowler. I think that when's the last time I seen him? I seen him during the summer. I didn't see his fight last night. So I have no idea how he was looking. But yeah, I've never been sold on Anthony Fowler. Not exactly a fighter I would really follow. Not exactly a fighter who would really I'm not compelled to watch a lot of Anthony Fowler's fights, to be honest with you. It's just that way. It's just that way. What we have here? Ramallah was very skilled for her second fight. I need to see more. I haven't seen. I know her debut. I didn't know she was fighting last night. Again, like most of them fights happened while the Russian card was on, and I was watching that. I watched the guy's name. What was the guy's name? Was it Savas or something like that? He was undefeated, and he fought another undefeated fighter. I forget the guy's name, but he looked impressive. He really did. He looked very impressive. What was the guy's name? It was like, it began with a P and it was like something, I can't remember the guy's name, but he looked real impressive in that fight. That was a super middleweight, and he's someone I really want to keep my eye on. Okolie has turned a few haters into fans Saturday. I hope he gets a decent payday with the Briedis fight. Yeah, look, I never doubted Okolie was a good fighter. You know, early on in his career, I was kind of just like, holy God, what the hell is this guy doing? He's clinching, he's rapping. But I always knew he's going to be a problem, just given his physical attributes. I always knew he was going to be a problem. That was always going to be the case. You know, I never thought like, oh, this guy is just I always knew he was going to be a problem. He was going to be good, but you know, it's just a cruiserweight. He's going to be a problem. A heavyweight, I won't be. I'll wait. No, I'll reserve judgment, but I'm not convinced. I have to wait until I see him. But you know, I wouldn't be holding my breath about him doing much. Did Eddie Hearn announce where the Rock Whyte Povetkin fight is going on? No, it's in Gibraltar, but like I don't even know where. Well, no, is it near France or somewhere like that? Gibraltar? I'm not sure. It's in Gibraltar of all places. I was shocked. Yeah, I've seen a good few people pick him. I really couldn't understand that. To me, that was a no-brainer. You know, that was a no-brainer that, you know, Okolie was going to win that fight. You know, I knew Glowacki would be game, and I knew he had experience, but I thought he'd seen better days. Dylan can't box with Povetkin, in my opinion. He's the roughhouse Liam on him. I think he can box with Povetkin. I think we need to see how Povetkin looks. Povetkin is aging. So whereas before you might not have been able to box, Dylan Whyte might have been able to box with him. Maybe he can now. I think Povetkin is is there for the taking. Like that. When they fought last time, I was picking Whyte, but I had that feeling that Povetkin would pull it off. I don't have any of that this time. None of it. And big up to J Deb. Okolie's ancestors are from Zamuda originally. Originally, big day for small nation respect. Zamuda. That's in Africa. Whereabouts in Africa? I don't know. Geography, man. Geography. Not going to blow my own trumpet this week, but I did say last week Parker Carter be announced 3 world titles with Katie Taylor being on one of them. Yeah, no. I really did think that they would be more competitive fights, to be fair. I kind of had a feeling we'd get Katie Taylor on it. Didn't think we'd get her against Natasha Jonas, to be fair. But I had a feeling we'd get Katie Taylor. I really did. Okolie cannot afford to hook with a mid-range hooker like the one he fights The Wire. Yeah, man. The Wire. The legend. The legend himself. Scotney looked pretty good. Albert against a smaller but very game French girl. Again, I heard about those two, but I didn't see them. What was her name? I can't remember the full name of the girl, but yeah, I didn't see any. Look, the only real fight I saw was the main event. I wasn't even properly watching the Cordina fight. To be honest, I was watching Ade's live stream with that, and he wasn't even watching the fight, so I definitely wasn't watching it. Big up to Chris, Broken Nose every time. He's got a good channel as well, same as him and Dale and Mark. All great channels. Go over, give them a look. Big up to Broken Nose. Yeah, Glowacki is a tough dude, but Okolie is such a bad style for him. Yeah, exactly. I knew that. I was convinced. Oh, shout out to Dale. That's who it was. Pavel Singani, I think that's how you pronounce it. That's who I was talking about earlier. I seen him on the Beterbiev card, and I was looking at this. It's super middleweight. He was fighting another undefeated opponent. The opponent he was fighting, I really can't pronounce his name, but he was 13-0. The guy he was fighting, he looked good. He looked good. He's a super middleweight prospect, right? And he looked very good. That was the co-main event on the Beterbiev card. And Beterbiev, I gave my thoughts on that after. I think Beterbiev was looking for some rounds in there more so than anything else, but he did what he needed to do. That Adam Danish guy was tough. Give him that. He was tough. He was not going anywhere. JD's Wilder, Team Wilder. I want to see Okolie versus Briedis. It's not our problem if Okolie isn't ready. He thinks he is, and I don't doubt him. I'm tired of champions fighting sandwich filters. Yeah, if a fighter wants to go in there with the best, they should. Like, I kind of always hate, like, do you know what? Like, when you see a fighter and they win their world title and their first fight is just against an absolute, like, it's different. Well, I suppose it's not different, but if you win a world title and you're fighting 3 months later and it's just against an absolute no-hoper, it's just like, come on now. Man, I'm missing loads of comments here. WBA are trash. Yeah, their rankings is absolutely ridiculous. I really don't understand it, in all honesty. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly it. In all honesty, that's the fight that should be, like, that fight I wouldn't mind seeing on the undercard. That's a fight that you could do. Craig Richards versus Joshua Boazzi. That's an undercard fight. For that, to put Dimitri Bivol in there. I mean, like, what's wrong with, he's already beat Jan Pascal, but, like, look at the top 10. I have the top 10 still opened here. Shabransky, meh. What about this guy, Robin Court? He's the interim champion. I can't pronounce the guy's name. What about that? You got Marcus Brown. Yornski Gonzalez actually wouldn't be a bad shout. Cuban, decent fighter. I've seen a couple of his fights over the years. He's not bad. They're better. They're better shouts. Jesus. Did I see Tony Bellew's OnlyFans? No. I called him. No, Harley Quinn. Yeah, I haven't seen Harley Quinn's OnlyFans yet. I won't be. Training advice. But what kind of training? What kind of training are you looking to do, mate? I can give you advice and training, but I need to know what specific type of training you're looking for, mate, before I can give you advice. Bellew on OnlyFans. Now, that's what I call a challenging goal. Oh, man. I've never looked at that website. Never will. Not going to happen. G-Man, what about Deontay Wilder same weight? As in, like, same weight as Okolie or at heavyweight? Deontay Wilder and Okolie, like, Lawrence Okolie is technically better than Wilder from what I've seen. Like, Wilder, his jab is better. Okolie is just, you can tell he's, been, schooled a lot better, and he's listening to Shane McGuigan. Shane McGuigan is someone who I wouldn't have much time for, as a person, but as a trainer, very, very good trainer. He's done a lot of good work with a lot of fighters. Why would you give training advice on OnlyFans? Your guess is as good as mine, man. Your guess is as good as mine. I haven't seen it, mate. I already done a rap video, but I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it. Big up to Mark Osborne. Every single time, man. I hope I'm not missing, like, loads of comments here. Parker Chisora 2 years ago, and Parker just had a war with Whyte, and Chisora having a couple of wins was not even main event. Yeah, exactly. Parker had only come off the back of one win over again. Oh, no. Yeah, he'd come off the back of a win over Molina and that Flores guy. And then they were going to put him in there as the co-main event with Joe Parker or with Derek Chisora, who would only beat Spilka and Senat Gashi. And now we're getting that as a main event on a pay-per-view where Parker is beating Junior Fa, and Chisora lost his last fight. It's really crazy to think, like, I don't know, unless Sky are just trying to, get as much money as they can in before Eddie Hearn leaves. That's the only thing it could be. Does Bellew even train now? Looks like he's been living out of Greg's. That's what I don't want to know. I know he's said he's lost some weight in the past, but, Bellew's never been... I don't know. I wouldn't take training advice off Tony Bellew personally, but to each his own, I suppose. I'm surprised Okolie's performed as well as he did, considering all the hype. No, I think there's one thing he's always shown me. He's a confident character, and it looks like he can handle that pressure, definitely. You know, he was able to go... for someone who had very little amateur experience, he was able to, you know, do quite well, you know, get to a decent level. You know, he's been sparring guys like Joyce and Anthony Joshua. So for me, Okolie's always shown a lot of confidence. It just... early performances against like Chamberlain and Matty Askin, they were performances where they just had me thinking, does he have the heart? Is he really there, or does he feel like something like, you know, oh, I can do this, but I need to make sure I do. Yeah, but since he's been with Shane McGuigan, he's looked a hell of a lot better. He's looking like a different fighter. I need to set up my acknowledge game. I'm a long way off Orchard's or level. Oh man, G-Man on OnlyFans? Hell no. That's never going to happen. Eddie Hearn now really just trying to sell that as a final eliminator for a shot at the winner of Joyce Usyk. Jesus, people. Well, they'll try and sell it. They're not going to sell it. Like, that to me is just... it's a good fight, but it's not like... it's just not, man. It's just not a pay-per-view. You know, it's a good fight. Like, if that... I wouldn't... look, if they put really, really good fights in that undercard, really good fights, not just names... but like, they're not. Like, I was looking back at some of the Sky Fight Night cards they've had on over the years. Like, they were putting Carl Froch when he was a big star on just standard Sky Fight Night. They had Carl Frampton on standard Sky Fight Night on undercards. They had... who else did they have? They had like Dylan Whyte, Lucas Brown, standard Sky Fight Night. When you look at some of the pay-per-view cards, like the Parker Dylan Whyte card, that had some good fights on it, you know. But now, like, it's just been like look at the Usyk Chisora card, how crap that was with an undercard. You know, the one highlight, and I forgot to read that comment, but the one highlight would have been Allen versus Lovejoy, but that didn't happen because Lovejoy, you know, and old Don King wanted to, you know, ice the boxing fans, you know, like he was icing YouTubers at the start of the year. Glacky's footwork was poor. Since he's a southpaw, he should have consistently moved around the collies. Yeah. You know, they always say that, you know, the punch is a straight right against a southpaw. Okolie didn't need it, you know. Okolie didn't need the straight. Well, he did in the end, but after that, it was just... well, after that, it was just the jab. The jab did everything. He just didn't want to engage. It was what it was. Briedis is Usyk's best win, probably. That's the limit. That's the limitless test for Okolie. Yeah, I would say that Briedis a cruiserweight. Briedis is a hell of a cruiserweight. You know, he really is. Big up to Brennan every time. Jason says War Chisora is about as original as a toy North Face jacket. What we got here? Who will take over Sky when Eddie Hearn chooses to go with the zone? So what I think will happen is, all right, and I genuinely, hand on my heart, believe Eddie Hearn will just go full time with the zone. Holy shit, I'm missing a load of comments. I'm going to skip a few. No, I'm definitely going to skip a few because I missed loads of them. There we go. No, I missed loads of them. All right. So what I think will happen is we'll end up having a similar situation to what we had back at the start of like the 2010s, you know, where promoters like Frank Maloney, Mick Hennessy, probably Lee Eaton, smaller promoters, Dave Coldwell, will be able to put shows on Sky, and it'd be just kind of like that. Like, they had like Frank Maloney used to put on the Friday Fight Night cards. You used to have Frank Warren, you'd Mick Hennessy, you'd Eddie Hearn, you'd loads of different promoters at one time operating on Sky. I think it's going to be something similar to that. Me personally, that's what I think is going to happen. So it could actually work out better, because I always found that the Sky commentary team, even the guys like Adam Smith, Johnny Nelson, they were a lot more, how do I word? They were a lot more impartial back then, because they weren't trying to sell one specific brand, if you know what I mean. There was all that, you know, you could have Dave Colwell promoting the show, Mick Hennessy, Maloney. So there was always different fighters. So they were never just, you know, trying to, you know what, one fighter. Whereas now, like, it's with Eddie Hearn. Like, I mean, like, if one of their prospects gets knocked out by a guy who's, you know, 7'52", oh, all those 52 losses were, you know, robberies or something like that. Don't. Our guy is perfect. That's the way Sky are now. It's annoying. And I think Eddie Hearn is definitely going to go with his own full time. Why wouldn't he? I just don't think that makes. I don't think that makes sense to stick with Sky when you have the zone. So, for me, I think that I think Eddie Hearn is going to take it with Sky, and I think we're going to get a load of different promoters. We've already seen it with MTK putting golden contracts on Sky. You know, they had nothing to do with Eddie Hearn. So I reckon we're going to get something like that, where we'll get some MTK shows on. And I like the fact that MTK stream those shows to IFL because it's free. So I reckon we're going to get something like that in the future, where it's just going to be, you know, pretty much loads of different promoters on Sky. Yes, big up to Lee every time. Glad you're in the chat, man. Glad you're in the building. Hope you're all well, my man. Representing Watford. Watford, UK. Not in London, by the way. Not in London. It's in Hertford, isn't it? Hertford. Yeah, it is. That's the county it's in. Boazzi can clean up defensively under Hunter. I hope he keeps his offensive mindset. Yeah, Virgil Hunter's going to be a good fit. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Yo, big up to Nick. We got 60 in the chat. I will just ask one question, lads. If you could, it's free of charge. Smash the like button, please. If you don't mind. You got 32 likes. Feel free to smash the like button if you could, lads, please. Thank you. If you could. Oh, where we go there? G-Man, you should not be promoting Chisora Parker in any manner. I saw an interview with Chisora the other day, and he's quite clearly got CTE. I have to have a look at that. Because Chisora was on about slurred speeches and saying that, you know, he'll call it quits when he does that. Chisora's been around a while. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Like, if there's a bit of damage up there. I have to have a listen. It's always weird. Do you ever notice it's always weird when you listen to like fighters? Like, if you listen to like Kevin Mitchell today, and he's got, you know, he's punchy, and you listen to like one of his old interviews, the difference is actually frightening, because it's just so much more clearer, you know, back about 8-9 years ago than it is now. Does the DAZN £2 thing transfer from pounds to euro? No, it does. It's £2 irrespective of where you are. So for me, I pay €2 a month. Someone like Joe, like down there, he'd pay £2 a month. So it doesn't. I thought that would happen as well, to be honest with you. I thought it'd be like £2, but like €3. It's not. It's €2. Doesn't matter where you are, as far as I'm aware. Anyway, I know for me it's €2 every month, which is grand. I'm loving that. I'm absolutely loving that. Yeah, big up to T-Tone every time, man. Big up to you. Imagine £2 for the zone will be the equivalent in euro, and not €2 itself. No, it is. When I signed up for it, they told me when I signed up, and I was fully expecting to pay more, it said no, €2 a month. I was like, I'll have that. Thanks for that. Is there any boxer you would subscribe to if they? No, man. I don't. There's no one I would. There's no boxer. I don't do any of that OnlyFans and all that stuff. I don't do any of that. I wouldn't do that. You know, I don't mind giving the odd super chat, like in like channels and stuff like that. But in terms of like, you know, going for OnlyFans, no. South of Spain. Oh, is it? Why did I think? I thought that was in France. Like, not in France, but I thought it was like near France. That's good to know. Flexing the geography muscles. Yeah, well, I got hair. I'm pretty sure I got Hereford right for Watford. I used to say it was in London. It's not in London. Cordina punches. Yeah, from what I've heard, he's definitely not a puncher. Definitely not a puncher. Definitely not a puncher. Let's give Okolie credit, though, for the improvements he's shown. Everyone ranted at how great AJ looked in his second match, yet Ruiz was well overweight. What Okolie did was step up and blast the guy out. Yeah, no, Okolie looked good. Okolie looked good. Where was it? Someone said geography is my nemesis. Yep, the geography mastermind, G-Man. Yeah, geography ain't my... Oh! Wait a minute, what? Zamuda. Oh, fuck. I thought he meant Zambia. I thought he just spelled Zambia wrong. Zamuda. Isn't that like from... Yeah, that's from Coming to America. I thought he meant Zambia. Because I know Zambia's in Africa. But yeah, fuck right off. Yeah, I got the country wrong. Thanks for that. The only women fight I get excited for is Savannah Marshall. Yeah, to be honest with you, I would get actually like quite excited for that too. And I think Savannah Marshall would beat what's her name? What's her face? Shields, Clarissa Shields. That'd be a good fight. Savannah Marshall's very good. Very good. Very good. But yeah. Yeah. And I was so fucking bored you scored. Man. Big up to G, man. I'm new to the channel and love the videos and live streams. Ah, thanks, man. Big up to you. Glad you liked it, man. I'm always happy to meet from new subscribers. You know, see what you think, get you in the live stream, get you in, interact, all that. I do these live streams as much as I can, lad. As much as I can. As much as I can. I thought he breezed through so far, but Cordina needs to step up. He's been so stagnant. I get the impression with Eddie Hearn, if he feels like you're not going to put butts in seats, he's really going to take it easy on you. As in, like, he's going to just keep it slow and steady and this, that, and the other. What's J Dev said? Right. Ali Drew, she's on OnlyFans. G-Man opens an account within 20 seconds. Not even for Ali Drew would I open up an OnlyFans account, man. Not even for someone like Ali Drew would I open an OnlyFans account. That's just, I'm going on camera. Not even for her would I open an OnlyFans account. So there you go. J-Dev, your boy is not opening no OnlyFans. Not even for Ali Drew. You know, not even for Ali Drew. I knew you'd get that. Try and get that in there. The old Ali Drew comment. Can't get through a live stream without one. Someone mentioning her. Oh man. Felix Cash. Just Felix Cash. He's gonna get beat. Definitely. I'd be very surprised if he beats Denzel Bentley. I've been really impressed with Denzel Bentley. Really impressed with Denzel Bentley. Jim, I heard it's always healthier to inhale and exhale through your nose during the day, and during training it's always better to breathe through the nose. Tap mouth during sleep. Your thoughts? When I was boxing, either I was sparring, I was always told take deep breaths, inhale, and then just exhale them as slow as you can through the mouth. I was always told that, so I never had any issues. Personally in sparring, I was always told breathe in, just inhale slowly, exhale through the mouth, and you'd be good to go. That's what I was always told anyway. Yo, shout out to Helene, big up G-Man, hashtag G-Man's rocks. Yes, there we go. You got to get them in there, man. Billy Joe, the new WBA, WBC Ring Magazine champ. I give Billy Joe a better chance than others, right? I'm just going to admit that. I give him a better chance than others, right? I do give him a better chance than others. However, right, I'm picking Canelo. There's no way. There's no way. I can't see him getting a decision. Even if he deserves it, I can't see him. What are your thoughts about Andre? What are your thoughts? What do you think, about the opinion of Andre Ward by Bertiev? I feel that he's really tough too. Well, to be honest with you, mate, I watched this on the Prime stream. It was cracking all the way. And I didn't see any comment made by Andre Ward, so I can't really comment on that, to be honest with you, mate. I don't know what you said. Watford's in Hertfordshire. Yes. It's the last stop on one of the London Underground lines. I could not make it. When I was in London, I was looking at those underground things on the maps, and I was like, this ain't going to go well. I am going to end up in bloody Luton, as opposed to ending up in, like, where did I want to go? Well, I wanted to go into the city, but I would have ended up in Whitechapel or somewhere like that, miles away from where I needed to go. So I was like, nope, I ain't gonna go. I ain't gonna take a risk. G-Man, you rate this Prince Nassim? Of course, man. One of these days I'll do, not next, but one of these days I will be doing what was I going to call him? I do my WTF video on Prince Nassim. Not next, but one of them I will. One of them I will do. Definitely. One of them I'll be doing Prince Nassim. WTF on him. Not next. Not next, though. Having a Sky subscription is £60 per month. Yeah. It's dear. I pay it. It's dear. And on top of that, you have to get a subscription to BT Sport as well, which adds on to that. And pay-per-view for that. Yeah, so listen, if I could, if they put the zone on, and you know we're just getting I'm canceling it, to be honest with you, because it's too much money, man. It's too much money. IFL are rumored to be planning an OTT service, basically meaning a subscription service to stream fights like MTK shows. I hope not, because I love those MTK shows. They're good fun to watch. Like Lee McGregor looked. I didn't touch on those MTK shows. Lee McGregor looked brilliant in his fight. That's the best I've ever seen Maxie Hughes. There's some good fights on the undercard. Those MTK shows are solid. You know, they really are. So I hope not. I hope we get to see free boxing. Free boxing is just, you want the sport to grow. I don't know if it's financially viable now, but you want the sport to grow. Give us some free boxing. Give people a bit of free boxing and you will be good to go. You will get the sport into a better place. I'm sure of it. We just need to get some free boxing. And I don't mean it in a sense, like, you really could. Isn't it, it's, the name isn't the Patreon, doesn't sound anywhere near as bad as OnlyFans. Yeah, you could say Patreon is the same, but I think OnlyFans, you get like pictures and stuff like that. Like, and just, I don't know, like, I don't go into any of that. It's just, nah. Watford is in Herefordshire, but close enough. Yeah, well, I'm getting better at geography, you know. I feel the need to. The geography is just, it's not my strong suit. It is what it is. How do I think Okolie would fare against Andy Ruiz? He could probably give Ruiz some bother on the outside, definitely, but if Ruiz is able to get close, oh boy, that could be a problem. Thanks for that, yeah. That's the first thing that came to my head. It was just thanks for that. That's all I could think of. That's literally all I could think of, you know? I thought OnlyFans was a porn thing. What's all the boxers joining for? Funny times we live in. Yeah, I thought it was too. But apparently anyone can do an OnlyFans. Look, hey, leave him at it if he wants to. If people want to do it, I suppose at the end of the day, it's their money. But damn, why Ali Drew? Well, don't ask me. He's asking, no. Yo, big up to George C. G-Man's Rocks, big up to you. I'm late, but glad to catch you. Yeah, you still got a good 20, 30 minutes. You still got a good bit of time, man. You don't need to worry. You still got enough time. You still got plenty of time, mate. Loads of time. Loads of time. What was it, Coach Asgi? Because I seen one of his interviews. He's going to tell Billy Joe Saunders, you for no chance. No, but look, I give it a better chance than others. I just don't see, if your promoter is already talking about you, or is already talking about your next fight, like basically the guy you're fighting is already talking about his next fight, it's not a good sign. Big up to Ra every time, man. G-Man, is Parker training in the posh part of Dublin, Blackrock, let's say, or one of the more rough parts of the county like Tallaght? Right, as far as I know, right, and I don't know this for a fact, I think it's near like, where is it? Kind of like Ballyfermot, Drimna kind of region is where Andy Lee has his gym based. I could be wrong about that, but I know it's in around that ballpark. In fact, actually, it'd be near enough to wait there, because I'm not amazing with the rest of Dublin. Where's my Google map? I'm not exactly amazing with the rest of Dublin. He'd be near kind of, yeah, it'd be kind of near like Liberty Park and places like that. Whereabouts is that? Whereabouts in Dublin is that? Yeah, so it'd be kind of, actually probably be more kind of like Harold's Cross and kind of places like that, kind of Crumlin region, near enough to there. So you're not exactly the nicest part of Dublin, but you know, definitely not in Blackrock. He doesn't have his gym based down there. I'm nearly sure about that. Nearly sure he doesn't have his gym based out there. You know, fairly sure anyway. Fairly sure anyway. But yeah, I only found that out there a few days ago that he was training out in Blackrock, or not Blackrock. I'm saying Blackrock. That he was training in Dublin. So we'll see how that goes. I genuinely thought he would be doing it in the UK, but we'll see. Shows are good in the comments as well. Yeah, I switch the comments off when I'm watching them because you end up reading the comments more than you end up watching the fights. So I do love the MTK shows. Likewise, Sam McGregor, MTK. How far can he go? What's his level? Well, he's definitely European level. We need to see how far he goes. Like he said, I like about Lee McGregor is he's one of he said it himself. He just takes fights. You know, he just wants to fight. He just wants to box, and he doesn't care. He's one. This is the good thing about Lee McGregor. He said it himself. If I lose, I lose. As long as I take the risk, I'm happy. Most fighters nowadays, it's all about protecting the O, keep the O, take the. It's just like what the hell. You know, whereas Lee McGregor, he'll just fight anyone, and that's a good thing. And he looks a good little prospect. He really does. The MTK shows are really good. The sort of thing I'd attend regularly before lockdown. There were so many good fights on domestic level shows that go under the radar, real hidden gems. Well, see, that's what as well. I like the small hall shows as well. And it's one of the bad things about the lockdown is like people keep saying, "Oh, boxing's back." Well, it's not. It is, but grass level boxing isn't. That's in a very bad way because most of those small hall shows, they make their money from fans basically because most of those fighters on the small hall shows have to pay their way onto the cards. So they pay their way onto the cards. They recoup the money by selling tickets. So if there's no tickets to sell because there's no fans, they therefore don't get paid. And there's not enough money to run the shows in of itself because the promoters are getting paid by the fighters, you know, for the opponent, etc., etc. So grass level boxing is not good in the UK, and the small hall shows do be good. Like you get some very good little scraps on those small hall shows. Some of them, most of them aren't even recorded. So for me, those MTK shows are little hidden gems, and I hope they stay on IFL. I hope they stay free. Obviously, I'm not silly. I know if they have really, really big fights, they're probably not going to put them all on MTK shows, like really big names. But for the time being, I'm happy with them. Unless, look, think back to, they started running them shows in 2017, I think, on IFL. And look at the quality of the shows now compared to then. They're so much more improved. You know, there was a lot of fighters on those shows who you'd never heard of, who were undefeated, and you've not heard of them since. Whereas now, you're seeing them regularly. And you're seeing good fighters as well. Like you're seeing guys like Lee McGregor fight for European titles. You're seeing guys like Jay Harris, you know, on them shows as well, you know. Very good. I was really impressed at Maxie Hughes. You know, I thought he'd beat Paul Hyland, but I didn't think he'd beat him that convincingly. I thought he beat him on points. And I was really impressed. You know, he's really improved over the last few years. Has Maxie Hughes really, really improved. So yeah, big up to him. How is Lee McGregor? How is Lee McGregor bigger than Shazbaz? But they put fights division below. I have no idea, man. The rehydration, the weight thing, I have no idea how to do it. Oh, shout out to Timmy. Big up to Timmy Nielsen every single time, man. Thank you for dropping by. Hope you enjoying the chat. Hope you enjoying the chat. I like Andy Lee, but in recent interviews, he looked nice. Is he a known star? Not that I know of anyway. I don't think he's ever been known as a stoner, to be honest with you. I think he's just letting the hair go. You know, he's just letting the hair go. Andy Lee, is he in his 40s or is he pushing 40? I think he's just letting the hair go, letting it all, you know, letting it all hang out, you know. But Andy Lee, big up to him. He is a cool guy. How does Okolie get on against Dorticos and Makabu? Briedis is the only cruiserweight I confidently pick to beat Okolie right now. I'd pick him over Makabu. Dorticos, that's interesting. Dorticos is a good fighter. Dorticos hits hard. Dorticos has a chin on him. Dorticos, I'd sit on the fences there. That's a good fight. That's a very, very good fight. Is Parker in Dublin to start the that caught me by surprise when I heard about that. I was just like, what the? I genuinely thought it was a joke, and God knows what's going on, but it's a weird one. Gee, man, if Okolie beats Makabu and Briedis, will Harley Quinn and Johnny Nelson be better? You wouldn't know. With Harley Quinn, because he's signed with AJ, he'll just, anything AJ does or signs to, You know what Harley Quinn is like. Oh, it's perfect. It's just he's just so amazing. The AJ is just, you know, Mr. J. That's Harley Quinn in a nutshell. So someone who's assigned to AJ, Harley Quinn, just be like, Mr. J. He won't say anything. He won't be bitter. Small hall shows are better in some ways. A big stadium, you can barely see the action. Yeah, like, I mean, you go a small hall show, even if you pay for one of the cheaper seats, you're still seeing loads and loads and loads. You know, you're still seeing loads of stuff there. You know, there's always good fights on. You're always going to get one good fight at least at a small hall show. You know, so it's always a good thing. That's why I miss them. Like, I always make it my business to go to at least 1-2 shows a year. But obviously, I can't do it now, you know, because there's nothing to go to. But I always make it my business. I miss going to shows. Like, I like going just as a fan. Like, I don't even go to do like interviews and shit. Like, I just go as a fan. So just saying, there are no shows in Ireland. Are there even any promoters based here? Yeah, there's a few, but you know, like that, they're not particularly like good. That's the fairest way I can say it. They're not particularly good. Like, they wouldn't be able to negotiate their way out of a hostage situation, much less, you know, an actual boxing match. I went to a show in Cork 2 years ago. Well, it'll be 2 years now in July, and it was all right, but there was like, the problem is, right, a lot of fighters in Ireland, and there was a show on last night. There's 2 shows on. There was one in Luxembourg and one in Belgium where it was all Irish fighters on it, and a good few of them lost to journeyman. I think one guy even got knocked out, and it's just, there's just at grassroots level, there's just no real fighters that you could look at and say, oh, he's going somewhere. And then when they do put shows on here, they could have like 5 fighters in the same weight division with similar records, and they're all fighting journeyman after journeyman. It's like, why don't you put them together? Oh no, we can't do that. But they'd rather just cash them out against some prospect in the UK. So it's just annoying. But yeah, there's not really many promoters on in here. And even before lockdown, they were hardly putting any shows on. Like, I think 2019, there was 2 on in the south side. South of Ireland, there was 2 shows on. That's literally it. There's 2 shows on a year. Like, and even then they were crap. They were both muck. So I wouldn't even bother. Like, I probably won't go to any more shows in Ireland, even after they, you know, lift the restrictions and everything. I think my days going to small hall shows in Ireland are pretty much done. You know, obviously, if I know someone, I probably will. If I'm like a mate with someone and they're fighting on it, I probably will. But in terms of going as a fan, they're just not entertaining, and they're expensive over here as well. Like, I mean, they're a lot cheaper in the UK to go to small hall shows and stuff. They're dear here, you know, because they don't put many of them on. Andy Lee and Joe Parker to launch multination narcotics operating out of Ireland. Wouldn't surprise me, man. Nothing surprised me now at this stage. Oh, I missed one of Joe's comments there. Where was it? There we go. The best fight I've ever seen live was at the York Hall about 4 years ago. Celo Randa versus Leon McKenzie for the Southern Area Super Middleweight title. It was like fucking Rocky 10 movie. Honestly, man, they have some such good shows in them small. And the problem is, right, you'll have a lot of good shows that go unrecorded. Like, that show I went to in Cork was garbage. I can't remember who the fighters were, but there was one cruiserweight making his pro debut, and there was another guy he was fighting who was just a journeyman they brought in, and the 2 guys for 4 rounds just threw power shot. Neither guy could punch, neither guy got dropped, and both guys were absolutely shattered at the end. But it was actually such a fun little watch, and the away fighter actually won. The journeyman won. I can't remember what their names were. One of them was Irish, I know that. But you do, and that wasn't recorded, obviously, but you do get some little gems on them shows. I think a lot of but I'm with a lot of Oxa fans, like #GMansRock. Yeah, they love that. Can't wait for my girl Ebony Briedis is going to end Shannon Courtney's matchroom contract. Oh, stop. Yeah, big up to Ebony Briedis. Big up to Ebony Briedis, actually. I wonder, is it going to be a more interesting fight now? Because the Ball Courtney fight first time around was all right. was all right, but this is going to be a more intriguing fight, you know. I think Mark said he's going with Shannon Courtney. I'm going with Ebony Bridges to win this fight. It's going to be interesting. It's 3 weeks, right? It's in 3 weeks' time. We need to see how it goes, you know. Coogan will be all over that card, you know. Coogan will be just like, you know, he will be foaming at the mouth when Ebony Bridges and Shannon Courtney go in there. Like, literally, you know, he is going to paint the walls white when those two girls get in the ring. That's what I'll say about that. If G-Man comes to the UK, I'd love to go to that MTK gym. Honestly, I would love to go to that MTK gym. Seriously, I would love to go to that. I see Harlem Eubank is calling out Conor Benn. I was only watching one of Harlem Eubank's fights the other day. He's a lot to improve on. That's what I will say. He's a lot to improve on. That's what I will say. Where was it? I remember he had a really, really lucky decision in Monaco a few years ago. Who would you say is the best Irish boxer? Is G-Man? Is it Barry? Oh, best Irish boxer of all time? No. Definitely not Barry McGuigan. It would have to be, what's the guy's name? I always forget his name. Jimmy McLean. Jimmy McLaren. He was a boxer in the 30s, beat Benny Leonard. He was the best. He was from Down, and he was amazing. He was a welterweight. Seriously good fighter. Definitely. Best Irish fighter of all time. Hands down. He lived to his 96 as well. I think he was born in like I think he was born in 1910 or something like that. But yeah. No. Definitely he's the best for my money. Definitely not Barry. Definitely not. Jimmy McLaren. That was his name. Tommy McCarthy versus Bill Smith. Who do you got? McCarthy's improved a lot under Pete Taylor. I give him that. He really has improved a good bit under Pete Taylor. I would still favor Bill Smith. Favor him slightly, but definitely Tommy McCarthy's improved. Bill Smith looked very off, looked very shifty, looked dodgy as hell last night. He really did. I don't know what was wrong with him, but he got the job done in the end. I had him to win by knockout. He didn't. Thanks. Cost me again. How much would Small Hall event cost to go to here in Ireland? It was 60 quid for a ticket to drive down to Cork and back. It was 100 quid's worth of petrol. The drinks were, I think, like 5 something in there. It was in a basketball stadium in Cork. And then you're paying for the hotel. That was dear. It was dear. It was a dear weekend. And who was it that I had? Where was it? I went to a show in Belfast the year before, and I paid half the price for everything. Like, literally, it was way cheaper. And I remember going to Frampton and Jackson. That was when Fury fought what was his name? Pianetta. And that was like half the price. That was half the price I paid for to go to the fight in Cork. So after that, and the fight, and it was a shit card in Cork. It really was. So after that, thereafter, I was just like, I'm not going to shows in Ireland anymore. Because I went to one in 2018, and I went to one at the start of 2019. They're both in the National Stadium in Dublin. And like that, they were both expensive. They were both crap. And I was just like, no, that I'm not doing it. I'd rather go to it. I was trying to see if there was any shows on when I was over in London last year. There wasn't. Thereafter, I just said I'm not going to go to any more small hall shows here in Ireland unless I know someone on it, or unless I know it's going to have some good fights. I'm just not bothering anymore. I was going to go. They were meant to do a show in Waterford last year in May before everything got locked down, and I was just like, no, fuck that. I'm not doing this anymore. It's just too much money. It's not worth the travel. If I'm going down the country, I'm going to any country or county, and I'm bringing my missus to a county for a weekend away. I'm not going to a boxing show. And then again, like, you'll find that a lot of Irish fighters, at least this is the general consensus I find, when they're up and coming, they're just trying to get one-punch knockouts, and the majority of them can't punch properly. So they end up just going into 4-rounders and just having a 4-round snooze fest where they're looking for one shot at a time. A lot of them can't punch correctly, and it's just not fun, you know. Just rewatch Cleverly versus Bellew 1 press conference to laugh at 2011 Harley Quinn as much as you do. Yeah, you gotta love big up to Harley Quinn. You know, I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. The thumbnail I made of him when I put his face on Harley Quinn, I still have that. Oh, I have it saved for every chance I get. You know, I have it saved for every chance I get. I always want to bring out that. Always. Jimmy McLaren blatantly. Easily. He was a very, very good fighter. Hell of a fighter. Hell of a fighter. You know? Hell of a fighter. Bill Smith was getting hit way too easy. Yeah, he was. I didn't understand that there were so many defensive lapses there. I just couldn't understand that. I really thought he'd have a much easier time than he did, but tell you, he didn't. He didn't. I really did think that would be a fairly straightforward walk in the park for him, to be honest with you. But look, it was what it was. We need to see how he looks moving forward. But you know, I've got a bit of faith in Bill Smith yet, and I still think that there's a good fighter there, but he just has these lapses from time to time. That's where it was. Yeah, it was the Neptune. Yeah, it was the Neptune in Cork. That wasn't fun. That Neptune, that's I'm just gonna say it. There was a dodgy smell in that stadium. The minute I walked in, I was like, "What the fuck?" There was a dodgy smell in there. Big up to Dan Whyte. Big up to you, my man. Even the G-man. Has Okolie's chin ever been tested? It will be interesting to see how him against someone like Makabu who can bang. You see, that's exactly what I've been saying, Dan. I'm interested to see how his chin holds up. I'll tell you why. I've seen him get starched in the amateurs a few times by Savon mainly. I think he was stopped by someone else as well. So for me, I want to see how he looks when someone cracks him on the chin. Simple as. I want to see how he looks when he gets in there with a big puncher and they tag him on the chin. I want to see what happens. So it's not happened yet. And someone like Makabu, Briedis does hit hard. I know lately he's been going the distance in his fights, but he is still a hard puncher. So I want to see how he looks against someone like that. So I think, and that's why I'm convinced that when he moves to heavyweight, there's going to be a few little troubles there. You know, I'm not going to say he's going to be terrible at heavyweight now, but I definitely don't expect him to have as easy of a time. Nowhere near. I was meant to go to that Frampton show in Belfast when Goudier was slipped in the shower the night before and got pulled. Yeah, I know a few people who are actually going to that show. I remember actually that well. I was sitting in a pub with a few of the lads, and we were talking about why didn't we get tickets for that Frampton show? And then the next thing I see, well, I get a text from one of my mates who was going to go up there to that show, and he's like, "You'll never believe what happened." And I was like, "What?" They pulled the show. I was like, "Thank God for that we didn't go." Obviously, I felt bad on him, but I was like, "Thank God I didn't waste my time taking a trip to Belfast for no reason." At the time, I wasn't seeing, because at the time, back at the end of 2018, I started seeing a girl from Belfast, but she was living down here, and that was the only time I would have went up there, is if she was staying like at home or something like that. But other than that, I wouldn't have. I was delighted. Not for him, obviously, but I was just like, "Whew, thank God for that. I didn't go to that." But yeah, that's got to be disgusting. I remember that well, actually. I was like that. And he missed weight. He missed weight by like 2 pounds, Frampton, for that fight. And then he slipped in the shower, apparently. But then soon after that, the McGuigan issue started happening. I reckon there was more to that than meets the eye, because it wasn't long after that the McGuigan thing started coming out. So I suspect there was a bit more to that than meets the eye. Why are Mickey Teo and John Fury still going at it for fighting? They talk a lot. Are they still going at it? Are they? Why are they saying now? I'll have to look up that. What's it? John Fury, Mickey Teo. Man, it's funny. I find it funny. I mean, that kind of made 2020, when there was no boxing, a bit more bearable, because you just had those two guys going at it the whole time. So that kind of made, for me anyway, that made 2020 a bit more bearable, because all they did was just talk, you know what. John Fury having a go at Mickey Teo was funny. Talking small hall shows, R.I.P. Lee Noble died from cancer. I seen that. I never seen him fight now, but I seen a few of his interviews on IFL. He seemed a cool guy, and that's sad. He 2 little girls as well. That's really sad. Like, R.I.P. to Lee Noble, 33. Like, that's not nice, man. Big up to him. I never seen him fight, but like I seen him on IFL a few times, and he seemed a real cool guy. So that's yeah. Billum Smith was disappointing. Defense isn't great. Doesn't move his head. I don't know about lacking power. I think his power is not bad, but he definitely. I know he can do better than what he did. Put it like that. I know he can do better. I'm just reaching for something here, lads. Just 2 secs. I need to grab something. Yeah. So I know we can do better than that. I know we can, but he just has those lapses, I think. Like his last fight, before he got the guy out of there, he was getting hit pretty easily as well. So I think he just has those moments of defensive lapses where he just doesn't think. Does Okolie? Yeah, he definitely beats. Yeah, he definitely beats the Don. One shot, Lovejoy. He definitely beats him. 100%. 100% he beats Chris Lovejoy. Beterbiev versus Smith. Vlasov, Bivol to become undisputed with our age, catch up to him against the very best. I reckon he's probably got about 2 years where we're still seeing a very good Beterbiev. We might start to see him fade. We might see at that stage. See, he's at that age where they literally do, like, you could perform amazing in one fight, and your next fight, boom, it's just boom. You've aged. That's what I'm thinking could happen with Beterbiev. It does happen. It happens with fighters. Yeah, agree, G. Definitely something was fishy. Was going on in the Frampton camp. It was the beginning of the end. Yeah, when I heard that, I was just like, and then when I saw the fact that he flipping was going with the court with the McGuigans not long after, I was like, yeah, this is fishy. I was just straight away, I was like, yeah, it's nothing to do with the missing weight or the injury. It's just the fact that there's something fishy going on here. So that's what I've always suspected with that, because it was literally, that was in July, and come November he was fighting with fish eyes. So it was really quickly thereafter that he was in court with the McGuigans. So I reckon it all came to a head, and Frampton missing weight, Everton just was like, we're not putting this show on, and it went off. It went off thereafter. Big up to Prav. That's how I'm pronouncing that. Big up to you, my man. G-Man, what did you think of Virgil Ortiz's performance last night? I actually, to be honest with you, I haven't seen it. I honestly haven't seen it. So I'm gonna watch it when I finish this live stream, because I really want to see what it was like. I only saw the ending, and I want to see, because I like Virgil Ortiz. I really do. I think he's a great fighter, and I really want to see how he looked in that fight. Looking at Alan's Insta, reading between the lines, what do you say? He's coming back. I'm telling you. I'll tell you this now, mate, right? I would be amazed if he doesn't. I would be amazed if he doesn't. The way he's speaking, the way he's talking about everything. I think he put up a post and he said words to the effect of, I'm just losing weight just in case an offer comes for a fight. So he's already acknowledging the fact that he's going to basically, if the right offer comes, he's going to go. He's going to come back. So I reckon he's going to go the minute a good offer gets thrown to him to fight, he's going to take it straight away. That's just what I reckon. Do I want to see Alan back in the ring? Not really. You know, I don't particularly have much time for the guy, but I don't want to see the guy get absolutely, starched either. It's sort of way, like, I don't want to see the guy get starched either, because, I'm pretty sure that all up there in the head ain't exactly all there, because he's been hit so many goddamn times. But I don't want to see the guy take any more unnecessary shots, to be honest with you. But it's his choice at the end of the day. I reckon he's definitely planning for a comeback, or something's in the pipeline anyway. The only fight I want to see him in is against Lovejoy, because it's just funny. But after that, I don't really want to see it. What's that say? Alan lost over a stone. Yeah. I wonder what goes on in that lad's head, to be honest with you. I really do, because he's just, I don't understand it. It's just, I don't understand him at all. Dave Allen. Yo, shout out to Champ Ross. Big up to you every single time, Champ Ross, man. Big up to you, man. Big up to you, my man, every single time. Lovejoy has called out Alan Babbage. Must watch. Yeah, man. Alan Babbage versus Lovejoy. He's all over the place. He's retired, then he's not retired, and he's calling this guy. He just wants a payday. He's never been paid for any of his fights, I don't think. So I reckon that's all it is with him. He just wants a payday. Hey, I'd watch it. I'd watch it, no problem. I'd watch it, absolutely no problem. Did you see the ending of Maxie Hughes? Yeah, I watched the full fight. Maxie Hughes looked good. It was just a bizarre ending. But the stoppage was coming, but just the referee helped with that. Although to be fair, he did say box on. To be fair, but it was a bit all over the place. But yeah, that was the best I've seen Maxie Hughes look in a while. The movement from him was on point. It really was. If Whyte and Povetkin goes all the way, which I don't think it will, he will take the decision. I think whoever has most points will get it. No, in all seriousness, you would I'd be very surprised if Povetkin wins many rounds in this fight. Personally, I really don't. I think he's aged too much. I'm going with Dylan Whyte to win by knockout. Probably in the first. I thought it'd probably go longer than the first fight because Dylan Whyte's going to be very circumspect about getting hit. So I reckon about 6-7 rounds, give or take. 6 or 7 rounds. I know we had Povetkin down in the 4th last time, but I reckon he's going to be a bit more cautious. So I reckon that Dylan Whyte is going to win, but I can't see it going the distance. I really can't. Did I see? Yeah, that was crazy. The Wire getting shouted out on Sky Sports. It's gas. I don't believe that. I briefly met Dave Allen at where was it? He seems a bit strange. Not the politest of blokes, really. Alan is a very introverted character. You know, he definitely he do. I don't know. With me, when I look at Dave Allen, he definitely strikes me as someone who has had issues with depression, stuff like that. You know, he just seems to be. I don't know. It's very bizarre when I see him and the things he comes out with. And like that, I would imagine that he probably wouldn't be the most friendly of guys to me. I don't know. He just definitely comes across as very out there. You know, the things he says, the way he carries himself. It's just, he's definitely an oddball. He's definitely an oddball. Yeah, a big up to Joe in the prediction league. I said that to Joe at the start of this because I got the email just after I went live. And Joe didn't believe me. I've had a nightmare this season in that prediction league. It's been it's been crazy. I've had a nightmare of a season this season. It's like everything I think is just going wrong. But you big up to Joe, top in the league. Fair play to you, my man. Dave Allen will be used for fodder. I'm saying for either one of Dubois' comeback opponents. Well, they did try and do that fight a few times. They made offers to Dave Allen, and he wanted serious money to fight Dubois. If memory serves me correctly, there was a few times he was offered. It was a good few times. But I could easily see that, to be honest with you. I could see that, or like that, as you say, against Fabio Wadley or against Alan Babbage, someone like that. He's saying he wants big money, though. But would they give him big money against someone? You see, I think they'd have to believe they'd want to be invested in some of these fighters. So, like, for someone like Fabio Wadley, right? Do they see enough of a future in him to warrant giving Alan the money he wants to come back? I don't know. Because it's an investment. So if you have a fighter and you believe in him, you believe he could be this cash cow, you believe he could go all the way, is it worth giving Allen, a 6-figure sum? Or would you think, no, the hell with that, because Wadley looks good, but we don't know how good he can be. I'm not giving you 6 figures when I could lose another 6 figures, even more off this guy. So we'll wait and see. But Allen's definitely going to come back. I'd be amazed if he doesn't. Seriously, I'd be amazed if he doesn't. Big up to Randy. Big up to you, my man. Big up to you every single time. You want to see Wilder Whyte? I do too. No, honest to God, I do too. I want to see that fight as well. I really do. I want to see Dylan Whyte versus Deontay Wilder. I don't know why. Just the fan in me just wants to see it. The fan in me just wants to see Deontay Wilder versus Dylan Whyte. Even though I'm pretty sure Deontay Wilder would win the fight, I still just want to see it. I still just want to see it. I still just want to see that fight. Now, what else we got? I think Allen could have a career tomorrow, to be honest, in the future, as he has a decent stable of fighters, could easily promote him, in my opinion. I don't know. Like, Dave Allen, maybe as a promoter, possibly, but he's just, there's something out there with Dave Allen. Like, I don't know what it is. I used to like Dave Allen when he came along to the scene first, because it was just kind of this blue collar guy, you know, just seemed very just awkward, and just actually seemed actually quite cool. But it's the same old you know what with him, and it's just, at this stage now, it's just getting ridiculous, you know. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Now, he definitely could do a good job managing some of these fighters, but in terms of promoting them, I don't know. Big up to Michael Van Gerwen, MVG in the building. Hello, G-Man. What fights are you looking forward to most in April? Smith versus Vlasov, definitely. I think that's going to be a great fight. Joe Smith, I think, will take that on points. But for me, that's going to be the best fight of April. Who else do we have? No, I'm looking forward to that probably the most of all the fights in April. May is going to be a crazy month of boxing, definitely. May is going to be a good month of boxing. But as for April, that's the fight I'm looking forward to the most. 100%. All right, lads and lassies, right? Lads and lassies, gonna call it quits here, right? So I've been doing this in my bedroom, by the way, so that's why it's been a bit kind of all over. That's probably why it's been echoey and everything. But I'm gonna call this quits here. Tuesday, probably Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll go and do part 2. We do our weekly live stream, so probably do it Tuesday, Wednesday. I will see how it goes there. Look at that. That's what I get in all these live streams now. Questions about that, between Jay Dev and others asking me that. That's why I always get that question. You'll have to wait and see, mate. G-Man should job retire. I'd fucking love to. I'd fucking give anything. I'd love to. God only knows, I fucking hate it. But I'm stuck for the time being. Until YouTube takes off, or someone wants to, you know, call you boy, you know, offer, you know, and something there in journalism, managing fighters, looking after fighters, etc., etc. Boys there, you know, boys there. But for the time being, I think I'm stuck. Who's Ali Drew? She's a boxing interviewer. Cheers, G-Man. Really enjoyed the stream. As Ivor said before, helping me wind down at the end of a tough week, man. That's what we do. That's why I do these on a Sunday. Get you ready for the week. You know, get you ready for the week ahead. And we do another one during the week, because we always gotta talk boxing, man. There's always news, always something we can talk about. Always something we can talk. Always a pleasure, G-Man. Take care. All other lads and lassies, hashtag G-Man rocks. And Dan here, he gets it. Google Maps are higher, G-Man. Yeah, no, something in thing, like in boxing, ideally. That's what I'm trying to do, man. Because God knows. See you on Adays. Yeah, I'm probably going to hop into Adays for a bit. What time is it now? 7:30? Yeah, we'll definitely hop into Adays for a bit. Well, hang on a second. Well, I'm available. So if you know anyone MTK, you know, email addresses in the channel page. You know, feel free to get in contact, because I'm all free, man. And they should scoop you up to go work at Talksport. Well, I've done a few. I've been a guest on that show a few times, but not lately, because they're doing a boxing show now with Garrett A. Davis. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. On that is, I'm going to keep asking to get you a job. There you go, man. You know, get the word in. You know, and look at this, right? How professional is it? You know, the TV in the background, chair here. There we go. Professionalism. We don't even need to leave Ireland. Can do it all from the bedroom. But lads and lassies, right? Got to leave you here. I'm going to go record a few videos for tomorrow. And of course, we'll do another one of these during the week. Peace to all. Hope you all have a good week, guys. Peace.